Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Omar Khalid. But today is Monday, the 28th of November, 2022. The last month of the year is also coming to an end, but we've got lots to share with you. We will begin with the England team's tour to Pakistan, its significance in the current scenario. Also, the Ben Stokes-led English team are currently in Pakistan for a historic test series. This is the first time in 17 years that England are touring Pakistan, and the three-match series is going to be part of the World Test Championship. We'll be talking about the significance of this series in Pakistan and the resumption of cricketing ties between England and Pakistan on Pakistani soil in our first story. Our second story, ladies and gentlemen, concerns Pakistan, that has expressed grave concern over the confirmation of BJP leadership's direct involvement in the anti-Muslim riots and violence that occurred in Gujarat in 2002. In a statement, Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch has urged India to immediately constitute an independent commission of inquiry and bring the culprits of the horrific Godhra incident as well as the Gujarat riots to justice. Let's see how that will bode along. Our third story, ladies and gentlemen, concerns Pakistan's solid waste management issues. How important is our responsibility as citizens of Pakistan? How important is it for us to have a proper civic sense in order to understand the importance of waste management and not to create and not to add misery to the current situation that Pakistan is engulfed in? How important is awareness amongst the masses? This is going to be our third story. Then we'll be talking about the anti-polio campaign that has begun in selected cities of Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan today, and scores of children under the age of 5 are being given the polio drops. This is an important drive, as has been the previous drives that continue to inoculate the children below the age of 5 against this crippling disease. Then we'll be talking about at least 50,000 migrants that, as per a report of the IOM, have died while undertaking risking journeys in the search of a better life across the world since the year 2014. This has been said by International Organization for Migration. It is a Geneva-based United Nations agency, and we all know the perils that come with this. We have heard about it directly and indirectly. Then finally, we'll be talking about, before we go, we'll be talking about a certain issue, but of course, let's keep it for the last minute. But let's come to our first story, and that concerns the England's team to Pakistan after a gap of 17 years. Its significance as far as Pakistan-England relationship is concerned, as far as the resumption of cricketing ties between England and Pakistan in Pakistan is concerned. Also, the fact that all apprehensions regarding the security situation in Pakistan have now been put away because Pakistan is slowly and steadily gaining confidence amongst countries such as England. Mirza Iqbal Baig, who is a senior sports journalist, joins us online. Iqbal Baig Saab, thank you very much to have joined us. Iqbal Saab, a historic day, 17 years after the last time England toured Pakistan. They toured Pakistan again for a three-match series, which is going to be part of the World Test Championship. How important do you feel is this series as a whole? If I were to ask you as an analyst, what is the importance as far as sporting ties is concerned, as far as general ties is concerned between England and Pakistan?
Thank you so much, Umar. Actually, it's a historic occasion that English cricket team is has come to Pakistan after 17 years. And during that period, in 17 years, Pakistan played 5 test series against England. 3 of them were played in England and 2 of them were played in UAE. So it means that Pakistani cricket fans who last saw England in 2005 when Pakistan won that series 2-0. So it will be a great moment for the Pakistani cricket lovers. But the thing is this, that this English team comprises of mostly young upcoming cricketers. Only 3 prominent cricketers are part of this team, which are their captain Ben Stokes, their former captain Joe Root, one of the best leading batsmen in the world, and their fast bowler Jamie Anderson. Beside them, all the players are not too experienced. But let's hope that this series is going to create a new history in Pakistan's cricket, because except England and New Zealand, all the teams of the world have played in Pakistan after that attack on the Sri Lankan cricket team, which was which occurred on 3rd March 2009. So it means it's a good sign for Pakistan cricket at the international level.
Another good sign that we've seen is the statement by Ben Stokes, who says that he's going to donate all of his match fees from the Test series to the Pakistan's flood appeal. How important is that also as a statement from a reputed Test cricketer, and how is it going to bode along as far as the appeal that Pakistan has made to help all those people, the 33 million plus people who've been affected by the floods?
Actually, Umar, the British High Commissioner in Pakistan, Christian Turner, was actually instrumental in bringing the English cricket team, and last year they refused to come to Pakistan after New Zealand abandoned their tour. But definitely, Christian Turner is taking great interest. I saw him in the T20 series, 7-match T20 series, and then he hosted a reception, each and everything. So I think that he has motivated the English cricketers to help Pakistan for the flood relief victims, which is actually quite commendable. And I think beside Ben Stokes, Brendan McCullum, their coach who has come to Pakistan, who has played for New Zealand, he has also announced that they'll be giving all the fee of their tour, test match fee to the Pakistani flood victims, which is definitely, which can be appreciated.
All right, you spoke of Brendan McCullum. Brendan McCullum was asked in a media talk very recently about the modification of traditional aggressive approach by England because of the Pakistani pitches. Do you feel we're going to see a different British approach as far as this test match series is concerned, or do you feel their technique is going to remain the same?
The main question, Omar, is this, that what sort of pitches are being made for this series? You remember that in March this year, Pakistan prepared a pitch on which 1,187 runs were scored against Australia, and ICC gave demerit points to Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. So it must be in the mind of Pakistan Cricket Board that such type of pitches shouldn't be prepared again. So it means that Pakistan Cricket Board will be trying to, in my opinion, they'll be trying to prepare a spinning track, because Pakistan English team has got some very good seamers like Jamie Anderson. He is one of the top bowlers of England, and there is Overton, and there are so many, Ollie Johnson. So there are so many fast bowlers from English side. So I think that Pakistan is going to prepare a spinning track. Let's see. But this time, this pitch won't be like that which was used against Australia in March this year.
Finally, Mirza Iqbal Baig Sahab, how optimistic are you of this cricket series, of this test series, putting a very positive image for Pakistan and sports activities in Pakistan is concerned? And secondly, which team are you rooting for, the British or the Pakistani?
Umar, definitely Pakistan has got a big advantage because they are playing at home. The pitches are suitable for them. English cricket team didn't perform well for the last 1 or 2 years before Brendan McCullum took charge of the English test team, and they beat New Zealand and South Africa in their homeland. So it means that Pakistan will definitely be getting the advantage. Moeen Ali has retired, Adil Rashid has retired. There are some new faces, and their bowling, they have included 18 years old leg spinner of Leicestershire, Rehan Ahmed. So it means that they are also aware of this, that Pakistan might prepare the spinning track, so they have added an extra spinner. Otherwise, their squad consisted of 15 players, but now they have brought 16 players to Pakistan. It means that it will be a tough fought series, but I think Pakistan has got an upper hand, Omar.
All right, thank you so very much, Mirza Iqbal Baig Sahab, senior sports journalist, talking to us, and of course highlighting this test match series for which the British team is here in Pakistan. And it's an important occasion not only for Pakistan but also for cricket in Pakistan and the resumption of important sports activities in Pakistan. And this is just another chapter in the right direction, and let's hope this continues to go on in the right way. And our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif Saab, our Minister for Information Maryam Aurangzeb Sahiba have both congratulated not only the British team but also the resolve made by cricketers such as Ben Stokes by donating his match fees to the flood victims. So this is also a very genuine concern that the British have and the British cricket team has, and they have shown it through donating their cricketing match fees. Let's come to our second segment, and that concerns Pakistan's grave concern over the confirmation of the BJP leadership's direct involvement in the anti-Muslim violence that occurred in Gujarat in 2002. Now, after this confirmation, there has been a very strong reaction that has come from the Foreign Office. What now is going to happen as far as the 2002 riots and their results and the persecution is concerned? More in the following report.
Narendra Modi-led Hindutva Indian government is instigating egregious violations of religious and fundamental freedoms, resulting in bleak human rights situation and democratic backslide. Indian assault on democratic values and civil liberties has now garnered global attention, and the country as a whole is being periodically called out for rising Islamophobia and the institutionalized dilution of Muslims' rights. The confirmation of BJP leadership's direct involvement in anti-Muslim violence during horrific Gujarat riots of 2002 that led to killing of over 2,000 Muslims vindicate Pakistan's stance that BJP government disregards human rights and international law. The 2002 Gujarat riots was a period of anti-Muslim spiral of violence in Indian state of Gujarat when current Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the state chief minister, and Muslims were slaughtered, killed and plundered by radical Hindu mobs, with Modi government tacitly supporting the riots. In a statement, Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch urged India to immediately constitute an independent commission of inquiry to bring the culprits of horrific Godhra incidents as well as Gujarat riots to justice. The recent statement by former Chief Minister of Gujarat Shankar Singh Vaghela has confirmed Pakistan's long-standing assertion that BJP-led government was directly responsible for fomenting violence and massacre of Muslims, and it's high time to hold India accountable for its blatant violations of human rights.
And now to discuss this in detail, we've been joined by Lieutenant General retired Raza Khan Saab. Sir, thank you very much to have joined us. 2002, the riots that occurred in Gujarat, the riots that occurred in Godhra, the train fire that happened there. The results are only coming in 2022. 20 years of injustice, sir. 20 years of injustice, 2 decades of injustice to the families of the victims. The responsible, those who were responsible for the riots, do you feel they are going to get any kind of punishment?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In 2002, I think according to the official Indian figures, 1,000 Muslims were killed and another 1,000 were injured. And the injured also included a member of parliament from the Congress party. And I think at least 5% of those who were murdered and killed, they were actually burned alive. These were the incidents about which the Indian Supreme Court and their state courts should have taken suo motu notices and given their decisions immediately. But unfortunately, the Indian Supreme Court, procrastinated for, as you said, so many years, and it gave a decision in 2020 wherein it absolved Modi from the crimes that were perpetrated when he was the chief minister, and all the 14 other accused who were pointed out, and there was evidence against them. They were all released on bail. So I think one should not expect anything more, from the very pliant Indian courts at the state and at the federal level. And I think they are actually forwarding the agenda of the BJP, which is very unfortunate. Even the Indian Home Minister, I think 2 days back, he gave a statement by saying that he taught a lesson, and he was actually pointing at the Muslims, and the lesson was so big that they haven't, done anything in the last 22 years. And the main reason behind that is that the state elections in Gujarat are due on the 1st of December in the first phase.
So, Raza Khan Sahab, this is very interesting. If there are elections that are going to be held in Gujarat, is this decision also politically motivated just to appease those who were kind of directly or indirectly affected by the Gujarat riots in 2002 so that they can continue to vote for the BJP? What, in your point of view, is the importance of the timing of this decision?
But Indian rulers have actually cast Muslims, and it's not only the Indian Muslims, it's the Muslims of the Indian held Kashmir and even Pakistan as their internal enemies, and they do not have anything else in their manifesto to get votes except through the spreading of religious hatred, particularly of all Muslims and all other minorities. They're not talking about, economic progress or creating more jobs or health or education or houses. They have been traditionally trying to get votes on, the generation of hates, the division of caste, the division of, religion in India. And that is now one of the reasons that they are actually repeating what they've been doing in the past. It is very, very unfortunate, but they're doing that. And then, let's not forget what else they've been doing. We know that Islamophobia, for that very reason, is mainstream in India, and Indian leaders from the BJP have been giving such kinds of statements against Muslims very openly in the past. They have been threatening people who even stored beef in their refrigerators, and they've been forcing them, to chant the slogans of Jai Shri Ram. The Chief Minister of UP, he's on record having said that given a chance, he would place the statues of Hindu deities in all mosques in India. And he's actually the head of the Hindu Wahini Prashad, which is a terrorist organization. We should also not forget, the murder of Muslims in the 2007 Samjhota Express. Put together, I think they are targeting Muslims for political reasons. And I think the international community and the Muslims themselves, they have to find solutions to that. The survival of the Muslims, they lie,
Raza Khan Sahab, you said that the Muslims or the people in India or the international body needs to find some solutions to the current crisis in India. That is, of course, leading to communal disharmony, religious disharmony, and this is being propagated by this very Gujarat model since 2002 by the BJP-led government, because at that time Narendra Modi Sahab was the Chief Minister of Gujarat when all of these riots happened, and it had the benediction of Mr. Modi even then, and the riots and the anti-Muslim sentiment that emanates across India and illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir has also the backing of the Narendra Modi-led government. As far as the hate crime tracker is concerned, in the last 4 years, 400 hate crimes have occurred in India alone. Do you feel, Raza Khan Sahab, that this Gujarat model that has been implemented by the Narendra Modi since 2002 and now since he has gotten power in these last two governments has kind of developed even more? Do you feel that India under BJP rule is heading towards implosion, is heading towards a time when there could be civil war between the different religious communities or genocide, as Dr. Gregory Stanton has very well said in his report?
Yes, I think eventually all the minorities, particularly the big minorities like the Muslims, which form 15% of the total Indian population, but unfortunately, in the Indian parliament, their representation is less than 5%, and so is the case in the good Indian jobs. And I think I could say the same thing for Christians and, Dalits and others. So they'll be compelled, I think, to ask for self-rule. But coming back to Gujarat, what they can do is, the Congress party has traditionally been in the opposition, and right now what is happening is that they would want to actually retain this position. So the Muslims have a choice, to actually form a strong opposition with the Aam Aadmi Party and with the tribal parties there, with the Dalits, and I'm now talking of the AMIM, the All India Muslim Ittihad-e-Muslimin. They have actually put in some very strong candidates there, and if they cannot actually come to power in Gujarat, at least they can have a very strong opposition, which will prevent the BJP-led government and the state to make any legislation easily against the Muslims. At the same time, I think the Human Rights Watch and the Amnesty International, the UN Commission on Human Rights, and the United States Commission of International Religious Freedom, they all need to actually work to protect the Muslims of India and also the other minorities. And unless that is done, I think India is going to implode from the inside. And that is actually, if India gets destabilized, then their rulers can do anything. They will start blaming, the Muslims more, the minorities more, and they, in particular, they have the habit of blaming Pakistan for anything that happens or does not happen in India. So it can be a very serious situation, and therefore, I think all these organizations, the Friends of India, they need to prevail upon the BJP government to change their policies towards their minorities, particularly the Muslims of India.
All right. Now, speaking of the international effect or international pressure on India, we haven't seen much of that in the last few years, despite all the different human rights reports, whether it be from the UNHRC, whether it be from Amnesty, from Human Rights Watch, from Genocide Watch, and the list goes on. Even Pakistan has given very detailed reports with facts and figures concerning the barbarities that are being perpetrated by India in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, but also this has now extended beyond the held Kashmir Valley into Gujarat, into so many other cities, and we are seeing examples of that emanating in the daily lives of the people, especially the Muslims. Will the international community ever pressurize India? Because we don't see that pressure coming. We see statements emanating on different levels. We see some of the state office representatives talking about it, but beyond that, we don't see any kind of pressure or any kind of action taken on India, whether it be in form of some kind of sanction, direct or indirect. Will we ever see that?
Yeah, I think the European Parliament, the European Union, and some other European countries have been actually criticizing openly the present policies of the Modi regime against all their minorities, particularly Muslims and Christians. The Sikhs, again, internationally, they have been telling the world that they're not happy there, and they're talking of, the creation of Khalistan. The Canadian Sikhs, they are very active in that, and they carried out a referendum last year for independence. I think the OIC too needs to take cognizance of this, and some of the influential countries of the OIC, which have very large trading, who are large trading partners with India, they can exercise their influence. They can use their good offices, to very clearly tell India that whatever they're doing is unacceptable. And, influential countries, important countries like Pakistan and its friends, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Malaysia, the big Islamic countries, they could actually probably call, a foreign ministers conference of the OIC and, try and convince the influential countries to gradually reduce their trade with India, or at least to threaten them that their diaspora working in those countries would suffer if India does not, change its policy. So all these things put together, if pressure is created and put on the Modi government, and I'm talking now of economic pressure, I think things will change. And other than that, I think diplomatic pressures by Pakistan, the OIC, and other members, who actually care about the human rights of people, that needs to continue.
All right. Also referring to Raza Khan Sahab, you talked of Pakistan. Now, Pakistan has been doing whatever it can diplomatically, politically, morally, to help the people in illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and also to highlight the atrocities that India has been perpetrating. I'd like to refer to the recent statement by the Foreign Office as a result of this confirmation of BJP leadership's direct involvement in anti-Muslim violence in 2002, where the spokesperson urges India to immediately constitute an independent commission of inquiry to bring the culprits of the incident to justice. Will that commission ever be formed? And if and when it is formed, will its result and its judgment be in fact properly neutral, or will it be as per the will and whims of the BJP government?
Well, I don't see that being formed, but what Pakistan can also do is to actually ask for an international independent commission through the auspices of, the OIC, and as I said, the US Commission of International Religious Freedom, the European Union, and put in the case for that. I think by providing dossiers of what India is doing to all of them, including the Human Rights Watch and the UN Commission for Human Rights. So maybe they could then ask India to form an independent commission, and if I'm sure it is not going to be formed within India, but if it is formed and then processed outside India, and the facts are then propagated at the UN and at the important world capitals, I think that will bear pressure on India to change its policies.
When you talk of pressure on India to change its policies, whenever there is anything concerning the Indian held valley, Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, India now of recent times has been saying that this is an internal matter. Will it ever let international human rights organizations be part of investigations or some kind of justice for those who were affected by the 2002 riots?
I think that needs to be done, and I think in this the Muslim diaspora, whether it is the Indian Muslims diaspora, the Pakistani diaspora, in the important capitals which matter, or other Muslim countries in the US, in the UK, in Germany, in France, in these big countries, I think they are the ones who could actually make another effort to protect, their Muslim brothers against Indian barbarities in Kashmir. And I think if that is done, probably it will make a difference. It could be some kind of an international coalitions comprising more of Indian Muslims and also Muslims from other countries. But somebody will have to coordinate that, and I think it could be from the Human Rights Watch or from other UN agencies, assisted and supported by the OIC. I think if that is done, probably that option could also be explored.
All right. Let's see what happens in the days to come. Now that this judgment has come, what kind of effect is it going to have on Indian internal policy, on the way the international body looks on India as far as its human rights track record is concerned? We will wait, we will see. We are trying to highlight Indian atrocities on all different levels, but let's see how now that the Indian court also has acknowledged the involvement of the BJP. Let's see what happens in the days to come. Thank you so very much, Lieutenant General Raza Muhammad Khan Saab, senior analyst, talking to us and highlighting the Indian atrocities in the wake of the confirmation of BJP's direct involvement in the anti-Muslim violence in 2002. I'd like to end with Sanjeev Bhatt's statement, who was a senior police officer in the Gujarat Intelligence Bureau during the 2002 riots. In a sworn statement to the Supreme Court, he had said that his position allowed him to come across large amounts of information, intelligence. He alleges that in a meeting in the night before the riots, Mr. Modi had told officials that the Muslim community needed to be taught a lesson. The Muslim community, in fact, across India is still being taught a lesson. It's high time that the world understands the methodology, the philosophy of BJP. Let's come to our third segment, and that concerns Pakistan's solid waste management issue. How important is our responsibility as citizens of Pakistan to take care of waste and not let that go waste? More in the following report.
Pakistan has pristine landmass, but the country is being smothered by solid waste due to lack of public awareness, government inertia and poor waste management. Plastics swamp the Arabian Sea coastline, where the sewers of the sprawling port city of Karachi spew their waste. Asian Development Bank's latest reform roadmap revealed that Pakistan generates 30 million metric tons of municipal solid waste yearly. International Trade Administration estimates that Karachi, Pakistan's largest city, generates more than 16,500 tons of municipal waste daily. According to United Nations, single-use plastic bags kill up to 1 million birds, hundreds of thousands of marine mammals and turtles, along with countless fish each year. The solid waste management in Pakistan continues to be an issue of grave concern, and heaps of garbage and trash in different parts of major cities portray a dismal picture. The underlying causes for deteriorating waste management crisis in Pakistan are the employment of low innovative techniques by Department of Waste Management, the sluggish response of local government system, obsolete infrastructure, and the dearth of public awareness. Recycling is among the most effective means through which solid waste can be reduced and natural resources can be conserved by reusing materials and putting them back into productive use. A variety of new wastewater treatment technologies such as membrane filtration systems, automatic variable filtration, advanced oxidation processes, and UV irradiation have been proposed, tested, and applied in contemporary world to meet solid waste treatment requirements. Many societies across the world separate household waste into different streams such as paper, glass, metal, inorganic or green waste, so there is a dire need of mounting awareness strategies to educate the masses, as no city in the world can become garbage free unless the citizens cooperate. Environmental awareness programs should be formulated to disseminate information about proper waste disposal practices.
Sarmad Iqbal Khan, who's an environmental lawyer, joins us online. Sarmad, thank you very much to have joined us. Sarmad, the Asian Development Bank's latest reform roadmap reveals that Pakistan generates 30 million metric tons of municipal solid waste yearly. 30 million metric tons. Can we transform this waste into useful resource?
Thank you very much, Omar, for having me, and apologies I couldn't join you in the newsroom, but this is a very, very critical and crucial time when this information has come in, because everything is linked to climate impacts and environmental degradation. And this waste management or waste mismanagement is one of the key components of environmental degradation. Now, having said that, 30 million metric tons of waste being generated in Pakistan does require huge and concerted efforts in terms of properly managing it, properly wasting it, and properly recycling and reusing it. However, we still have a long way to go when it comes to actually management of waste. There are many initiatives that the government has taken, and various provinces are in pipeline with regards to new projects, programs, new thinking with regards to management of this waste. But the challenge is skyrocketing with regards to the.
But Sarmad, the biggest challenge isn't the biggest challenge the people of Pakistan, us, myself, yourself. Do we understand the importance of waste management? When I go on different roads across Islamabad, because I live here, I see the biggest of cars that I can imagine throwing away garbage as if, they were throwing away in garbage bins. In fact, they are throwing away on the main roads. Do we have a civic sense? And if not, what can be done to improve our civic sense?
Well, that's a big challenge. That's why I'm saying management requires both institutional mechanisms as well as human behavior. Now, managing human behavior is clubbed with provision of services for these individuals as well. And definitely, we need to change the behaviors. We need to really work on people's behaviors in terms of using the waste bins to actually throw trash in it. However, if it becomes more advanced, we need to actually learn about how to segregate waste into plastic bottles and chemical or liquid waste. So those are some of the things that we definitely need to work upon. And yes, it is a big challenge when it comes to dealing with human behaviors. We definitely need to work on that with huge civic engagement programs and education programs, and starting it from the grassroots, from the very lowest ebb in schools, in colleges, in the streets, in mohallas, in colonies. So there's huge actions that are required. However, at the same time, provision of services also requires concerted efforts. For example, if bins are placed, they need to be emptied regularly. and overflowing bins is going to definitely push the citizens to throw the garbage on the roads as well. So we need to look into
But you
this
know,
as well.
one classic example, Sarmad, is that of Karachi. 16,500 tons of municipal waste that is generated on a daily basis. We see the effects of it whenever it rains a little bit. The roads are inundated because of all the waste that is present everywhere. There are housing complexes that are constructed in the interior of the city on waste that has still to be removed. What can be done, in your point of view, as a citizen of Karachi, or maybe by the local administration, in order to start? I mean, what is the first step? What are the first few steps that are very important in order to give some kind of relief to the people of Karachi, for example?
Well, one of the things is the generation of waste, and right now in Karachi, and I was having a discussion with one of the people from Waste Management Agency while I was coming here. There's just one area of Korangi generates approximately 2,600 tons of waste per day. And that is taken to one of the waste disposal sites by one of the Turkish agencies, which has been commissioned to do that. And they are segregating the waste. However, one of the questions that I put to that person was, how do you segregate the waste? How do you ensure that the chemical waste is separated and it is not harming the environment or land? And he says, well, we segregate it, we sell it off to commercial entities who are recycling them. At the same time, the waste that remains is used as landfill. And with that landfill, many corporations, many housing societies are buying that waste to fill the land in order to develop new societies, new housing complexes, new plazas. And everything is built on the landfill sites, which ultimately is a challenge or will ultimately result into a challenge at a later stage. And right now we have areas which are being filled. However, at a point of time when there would be no areas to fill, where would that garbage be? How do we manage it? And this requires long-term and forecasted thinking. And that definitely is a challenge when it comes to us projecting things for future, planning 10 to 15 years ahead of time. And we've seen this as a huge and major challenge when it comes to planning for any of the urban projects, urbanization, or even the rural settings where we are to manage the waste.
Sarmad, when it comes to challenges, another challenge is recycling. A lot of countries across the world, especially in the West, are using the concept of recycling to for the benefit of their people. Can a country like Pakistan follow suit?
Well, yes, they can, and you know, there's a huge and demand of actually the recycling plants, and that is one of the reasons that few international companies were given contracts to do the recycling work, where they would establish recycling plants and segregate waste and put the reusable waste to use, as well as discard or throw away or safely manage the waste when it comes to non-usable waste. However, we lack policy cover to do that. We definitely need basic recycling rules. We don't have any basic recycling rules which should be followed in true letter and spirit by the waste management agencies or the municipal corporations.
All right. Now, you talked of recycling rules. I'd like to understand the National Waste Management Policy that has recently been approved by the Ministry of Climate Change. And of course, it's a very important development, a credible development as is concerned. Of course, this is a step in the right direction as far as climate change is concerned, as far as the waste management in Pakistan is concerned. We have seen a lot of issues concerning waste management, as I just discussed with my guest, Sarmad Iqbal Khan, about how we need to not only involve ourselves as citizens of any city, whether I'm in Islamabad, a lot of people are in Karachi, on how to not only involve themselves in waste management and how to take care of waste in their respective areas, but also to inform people and let them know on how to do that on their respective bases as well. And at the same time, as Sarmad also pointed out, that this needs to be inculcated in the curriculum as well on different levels, on the primary, on the secondary level as well. Sarmad, coming to recycling and the recycling issues, the National Waste Management Policy 2022 has recently been approved by the Ministry of Climate Change. Of course, it's a very important, credible development. In your point of view, how does this policy envision sustainable waste management in line with the environment and the challenges that a country like Pakistan is concerned with and facing?
Well, Ministry of Climate Change is definitely a coordinating body at the federal level, and anything that needs to be implemented or executed needs to be done at the provincial level. And with this 18th Amendment, devolution of powers to the provinces is definitely pushing the provinces to take lead on this and taking guidance from the national policy and preparing their own policy plans and then allocating of resources to carry out this work. This is a huge challenge, but it is a good development that Ministry of Climate Change did get this policy approved. However, translation into provincial policies, plans, and then finding resources to actually implement this is going to be an uphill task as well, with meager resources, with flood response in the making, with huge amounts of money that is required to rebuild lives of people. This agenda of waste management is going to be lying very low on the agenda or priority list.
All right. Now, as I would also like to understand some of the recent developments that have occurred as far as the reports are concerned. According to Volza's global import data of material waste, Pakistan is the largest importer of material waste, which amounts to 58 shipments, followed by Ireland with 47, Sweden with 42. We are unable to manage local generated waste. Why, in your point of view, are we taking global hazardous waste?
Well, that's one of the biggest challenges that Pakistan is foreseeing. Since it's a developing country, we are using this recycled or this hazardous waste to extract some of the items which are required to work or which are required for working of our industries of various segments. However, when it comes here, partially it is used and the rest is wasted. But the waste management requires actually efficient and effective system, which means that if we are unable to do a safe disposal of this waste, then that waste is going to be putting Pakistan in big trouble. And one of a few months ago, there was an issue that emerged in the media with some of the containers coming in with hazardous waste, with some of the material coming in from e-waste, such as computers, defreezers and stuff ending into Pakistan, where safe management and disposal was a big challenge. EPA stepped in. There were huge hue and cry on part of the environmentalist with regards to the impacts, the adverse impacts, and then the management of it was also questioned. However, everything just remained in the books, and we haven't seen any developments or any progress on that front. So, yes, management of waste, import of waste is definitely a bigger challenge. And for that, we definitely require new stringent policies, laws, as well as the effective implementation to ensure that our environment does not get degraded or further degraded because we are importing waste material from developed countries to be used in our industry as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarmad Iqbal Khan, environmental lawyer, talking to us about waste management, about Pakistan's endeavors to in that regard, and also the new policy that has been approved by the Ministry of Climate Change. We, as citizens of Pakistan, it is our collective responsibility to help ourselves and help those around us in order to alleviate Pakistan of this issue that is waste and waste management. Let's come to our last three stories very quickly. The first concerns the anti-polio campaign that has begun in Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. From today in Punjab, a 7-day anti-polio drive has begun in Lahore, Faisalabad and Rawalpindi, and a 5-day drive in 6 districts including Sialkot, Dera Ghazi Khan, Multan, Mianwali, Multan, Bahawalpur and Rajanpur. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the campaign has begun in 3 southern districts, including Bannu, Lucky Marwat, and North Waziristan. More than 500,000 children are going to be vaccinated as a result. And in Balochistan, a 7-day anti-polio drive has begun in 6 districts, during which more than 900,000 children up to 5 years of age are going to be administered the anti-polio drops. The anti-polio drops, ladies and gentlemen, are very important, and it's also the responsibility of the parents to coordinate with all the polio workers when they come and have the children inoculated with the polio drops. If the child is inoculated at the right time with the right polio drops, it is only then that he or she can prevent himself or herself from the crippling disease that is poliomyelitis. Let's come to our next story, and that concerns the report that has come from International Organization for Migration, which is a Geneva-based United Nations agency that says at least 500,000 migrants have died while undertaking risking journeys in search of a better life across the world since 2014. This was part of a report on Missing Migrants project, which also maintains that little action has been taken by any country of origin, transit or arrival. The nationality for over 30,000 people in the Missing Migrants project is unknown, which also means that there are more than 60% of those who die on migratory routes that remain unidentified. More than half of the 50,000 individual deaths documented occurred on routes to and within Europe, with Mediterranean routes claiming at least 25,104 lives. Also, Africa is the second deadliest region for people on the move, with more than 9,000 migration-related deaths documented since the year 2014. In Western Asia, also at least 1,315 lives have been lost on migratory routes. At least 522 people arriving from the Horn of Africa have died in Yemen. IOM has stressed that obligations under international law, including the right to life, must be upheld at all times. We wait for a proper resolution and application of this report and the findings of this report. We come to an end of today's newsroom, ladies and gentlemen, but before we go, I'd like to say a little bit about the Luxile Awards that were held recently. Now, there was a huge hue and cry as far as the nomination and then the win in the Viewer's Choice category for the best actor that went to Feroz Khan, an actor who's been involved in domestic abuse. The fact also remains that a lot of people have said as to why the administration of the LSAs did what they did, that is nominate and then give the award. The LSAs say that this is a viewer's choice, so it is as per the vote of the people that it is decided who wins or who does not. As a result, there are a lot of people who either did not attend the awards or who are returning their previous awards that were given to them, including Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, who was given the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012, and Maheen Khan, who is an ace fashion designer, who is going to return her Luxile Awards following the recent controversy. This was the 21st edition of the LSAs. But all of this brings me to only one thing. Viewer's choice means people are voting for somebody. People are voting for somebody who is involved in abuse of any kind, which means who are we supporting? Who are we? Are we also somewhere, somehow, directly or indirectly supporting abusers? Ponder that, think about that, and make a change in your lives. Allah Hafiz.